Stuart Friedman is a distinguished professor of management at the Wharton School. He authored the internationally acclaimed bestseller Total Leadership, which has been translated into 6 languages. He has served as a management consultant for organizations including the U.S. State Department, the White House, and the United Nations, and was named one of the top 50 management thinkers globally. The Wharton School's course on self-management is a continuation of his popular course, Total Leadership. The author introduces us to 6 successful individuals from different fields, politics, business, and sports, analyzing their personal growth journeys. These 6 successful individuals include Sheryl Sandberg, Facebook COO, Tom Tierney, former CEO of Bain and Company, Michelle Obama, former First Lady, Eric Greitens, former Navy SEAL, Julie Foudy, U.S. soccer legend, and Bruce Springsteen, rock icon. None of these individuals were born into privileged families. They achieved success through persistent effort and built everything from scratch, eventually making a global impact. Behind their extraordinary achievements, they're ordinary people like us who faced various setbacks and failures. Through their stories, the author demonstrates how they achieved simultaneous progress in work, family, social relationships, and personal growth. The author suggests that the first key to achieving success across work, family, social relationships, and personal growth is maintaining authenticity. This means clearly understanding what matters most in your life and living strictly according to your inner needs, letting these guide all your actions. Tom Tierney, who holds an MBA from Harvard University, served as CEO of the prestigious consulting firm Bain and Company for 8 years. In his childhood, his father told him that others' opinions don't matter in your life. What matters is who you are. Thus, his life principle became following his heart, knowing what he truly wanted, and staying true to his path. For Tierney, 2 things were non-negotiable in his life: making time for exercise every morning and spending weekends with his wife and son. During Bain and Company's crisis, he used his abilities and experience to turn the company around, achieving tremendous business success. His personal career peaked, earning him $1 million salary. However, at the height of his career, he boldly chose to leave and co-founded BridgeSpan, a small nonprofit organization, throwing himself enthusiastically into this work regardless of the modest compensation. His friends thought he had lost his mind and couldn't understand his choice. But for Tierney, this choice aligned perfectly with his inner values. The concept of serving society had always been deeply rooted in his value system. Tierney used this nonprofit organization to provide free strategic consulting services to philanthropic foundations, helping charitable groups operate more efficiently and maximize their impact. Under his persistence, the organization has operated for 20 years, helping numerous charitable clients, including even the Bill Gates Foundation. In a speech, Tierney said, "Why wait until 65 or 70 to start serving the public? For me, serving others is crucial. I don't plan to treat it as dessert. It's the main course." This thinking has guided my life choices. It really is that simple. Let's talk about the story of former U.S. First Lady Michelle Obama. As the wife of former President Barack Obama, Michelle was never one to seek the spotlight. Interestingly, she enjoyed approval ratings that most political figures could only dream of. The author believes this support stemmed from her genuine and down-to-earth qualities. Michelle maintained authenticity both in public and private life, making her a breath of fresh air in the political landscape. This set her apart from many other prominent political spouses. Obama's chief campaign strategist once remarked that she sometimes made the campaign team nervous because of her brutal honesty. She would speak her mind without filter. She never compromised her authenticity for political gain or engaged in self-deception. Michelle's authenticity and groundedness were also evident in her dedication to family. She always identified herself as a mother first. She once said, "I'm very cautious about politics. Once you enter politics, your life becomes an open book, and people don't always have good intentions, so I'm very protective of my family. I prefer to be surrounded by people who trust and love me." She consistently maintained clear boundaries between her personal and public life. Even after her husband's election victory, she made the unprecedented decision to wait until her daughter's school term ended before moving to Washington, something never before seen in American political history. After moving to the White House, Michelle didn't immediately dive into First Lady duties. She continued to prioritize her role as a mother. Between 2008 and early 2009, she firmly declined numerous political engagements. Her primary concern was helping her children adjust to their new city and school. To maintain family unity, she established a rule that at least 5 nights a week, The family would have dinner together before 6:30 p.m. This authentic, family-oriented mother, who didn't prioritize the First Lady title, earned unprecedented support and affection from the American public. Obama's senior political advisor noted, "Much of politics, frankly, is nonsense. It's the nature of the beast. But Michelle is different. Everything she does is genuine, and her influence may ultimately exceed her husband's." The author suggests that through Michelle's story, we can understand the power of authenticity. Staying true to oneself, pursuing one's genuine desires, and maintaining one's values often garners more support than constantly changing to please others. To protect your inner pursuits, set clear goals and allocate your time and energy accordingly. This makes it easier to prioritize when dealing with daily matters and helps maintain persistence when things get tough. Now, let's discuss the author's second suggestion, taking social responsibility. This means combining personal pursuits with social responsibilities, integrating personal and social roles to achieve greater success. The author shares the story of Julie Foudy, the U.S. women's soccer star. In 1987, at age 16, Foudy joined the national team and served as captain for 13 seasons over 17 years. As captain, she led her teammates with fierce determination, resulting in remarkable achievements, 2 World Cup victories and 3 Olympic medals. However, Foudy is best remembered for her tireless advocacy for women's soccer off the field. In the 1980s, when she first joined the national team, women's soccer was severely undervalued compared to men's soccer. While the men's team received substantial national funding, the women's team often struggled with unpaid wages, stayed in cheap motels, and traveled in rundown buses. Yet Foudy never gave up. In a 2009 speech, Julie Foudy recalled, "When I started playing soccer, we didn't even have a national team. Eventually, we formed the women's national team. People said there would never be a Women's World Cup, but we believed there would be, and we were determined to win its first championship." With this determination, in 1991, Foudy led the team to fulfill their promise. Before 65,000 cheering spectators and countless fans, they won the first Women's World Cup championship, achieving something the U.S. men's team had never accomplished. Since then, Foudy has become an ambassador for women's soccer, working tirelessly to elevate the sport's status. She served as the president and board member of the Women's Sports Foundation, encouraged athletes to give back to their communities through nonprofit organizations, and devoted herself to various causes advancing women's rights. Her husband has been incredibly supportive of her pursuits. In 1995, the couple founded the Julie Foudy Soccer Camp, which later evolved into the Julie Foudy Sports Leadership Academy. By the time Foudy retired in 2004, women's soccer in America had transformed from a hobby into a respected professional sport. Foudy said, "Everything I learned on the field built my confidence, taught me discipline, and showed me how to handle loss and adversity. These professional experiences, combined with support from family, teammates, and those around her, allowed her to achieve success while creating a perfect balance between family, social impact, and personal aspirations." Next, let's talk about rock legend Bruce Springsteen. This veteran musician has maintained his appeal for over 40 years in an ever-changing, competitive music industry. Throughout his career, he has sold over 65 million albums in the U.S. and 120 million worldwide, winning 20 Grammy Awards, 2 Golden Globes, and an Oscar. Some might attribute Springsteen's success to his musical talent, but his public recognition stems more from his social consciousness and sense of responsibility. Americans regard him as rock's conscience, almost becoming a symbol of social morality. For over 4 decades, he has consistently used his music to raise awareness about social issues like AIDS, gun violence, economic inequality, and racial discrimination, while encouraging his fans to help others. After the 9/11 attacks, Springsteen's entire community was severely impacted. He began calling victims' families and consoling survivors, extending help in the aftermath. These deep conversations with survivors inspired his acclaimed album, The Rising. The songs were inspired by firefighters' heroism and the stories of those who lost loved ones in the attacks. Moreover, he has consistently nurtured and supported talented upcoming musicians, especially those from underprivileged backgrounds with dreams of making it in music. For instance, he helped transform a group of aspiring musicians from working-class New Jersey into a world-renowned band. Throughout his career, Springsteen has sought opportunities to help others, uniting fans through shared pursuits. In facing a harsh world, he maintains an attitude of hope and joy, inspiring millions worldwide. This sense of responsibility beyond music has made him a recognized and remembered rock hero. These stories show that combining personal pursuits with social responsibility can garner more support and help achieve your dreams. Personal ambition and social responsibility aren't contradictory or opposing forces. Often, embracing social value can become an integral part of personal pursuit. Finally, let's discuss the author's third suggestion: solving life's practical problems with flexible and creative thinking. The author believes it's a good habit to seek creative methods and use flexible approaches to achieve goals, rather than being constrained by old habits and lifestyles. Managing this well allows you to balance multiple objectives. The author shares Sheryl Sandberg's story. In 2001, Sandberg joined Google as a business unit manager. She was considered one of the key drivers in making Google profitable, generating substantial advertising revenue through various innovative initiatives. In 2008, Sandberg was successfully recruited by Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg. She then went on to become the chief operating officer at Facebook, becoming the only female member of the board of directors, playfully dubbed by the media as Facebook's First Lady. She was also ranked among Forbes' top 50 most powerful businesswomen and appeared on the cover of Time magazine in 2013. However, this powerful career woman also experienced confusion and low points in life. One day in 2005, 7 months pregnant Sandberg sat in her Google office, discussing parenthood with a friend. They talked about who would take care of sick children and who should leave work early. Just 2 minutes into the conversation, Sandberg suddenly burst into tears. Deep down, she was terrified of her new role as a mother, believing she couldn't manage everything and worried it would impact her career. But things didn't turn out so badly. She and her husband successfully raised 2 children, and her career wasn't hindered, it actually continued to flourish. How did she manage this? Her strategy was to constantly adjust her approach to accommodate life's rhythm. After her first child was born, she changed her office hours from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. to 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., working remotely from home during other times. This new schedule was unusual among competitive, fast-paced executives. However, it gave Sandberg enough time to be with her husband and young children. Another life hack for Sandberg was the 50-50 agreement with her husband, sharing family responsibilities equally. Each morning, one of them would drive the kids to school, and at least one parent would be home for dinner with the children every evening. Weekends were absolutely dedicated to family time. This rotating system of shared care helped them divide family responsibilities fairly. Later, besides work and family life, she found time to write a book called Lean In, which explored how to make your partner a true collaborator and debunk the myth of having it all. Sandberg consistently learned to solve problems creatively rather than sacrificing one goal for another. Our final story features Eric Greitens, a former Navy SEAL officer. The Navy SEALs, one of the world's top 10 special forces, require candidates to complete what's considered the world's most rigorous military training, with a 70% dropout rate. Becoming a Navy SEAL is considered the highest honor for an American soldier. However, Greitens, who had worked hard to join the SEALs and served for several years, felt lost upon retirement. He described feeling like an unemployed sailor with no clear path forward. One day, visiting wounded veterans with an old friend profoundly impacted him. He discovered that these veterans, despite losing limbs or sight, still yearned to serve their country and find personal value. This inspired him to think about the future for himself and other veterans in similar situations. He believed if these individuals could find ways to serve others, they could rebuild their sense of achievement. Motivated by this idea, Greitens and his friends established The Mission Continues, a nonprofit organization helping veterans find appropriate ways to serve their communities. Through various efforts, they attracted many partners and sponsors, including Goldman Sachs Foundation and Ford Foundation. The organization has now supported over 600 members. This creative approach gave veterans new vitality and changed public perception of veterans. As his first member said, veterans shouldn't be viewed as kittens needing love and care, but as capable workers seeking new ways to serve. This imaginative approach also helped Greitens find his life's direction and earn significant recognition. The author believes these stories teach us to continuously try new ways of thinking about and solving problems. We shouldn't fear change, but should bravely face new challenges in life. We should use more flexible and innovative approaches to adapt to life's changing rhythms. When handled properly, changes in life's rhythm can become the best opportunities for personal growth and progress. Let me summarize the content of the book. The book shares insights and advice on personal growth and development through the stories of 6 prominent figures from different fields including politics, business, and sports. These 6 protagonists are Tom Tierney, former CEO of Bain and Company; Michelle Obama, former First Lady of the United States; Julie Foudy, U.S. women's soccer legend; Bruce Springsteen, rock icon; Sheryl Sandberg, COO of Facebook; and Eric Greitens, former Navy SEAL officer. None of them were born into privileged families or possessed extraordinary talents. Yet, they all achieved simultaneous progress in their work, family life, social relationships, and personal growth through their own efforts. Through analyzing their journeys, the author presents 3 key aspects of self-development. First, maintain authenticity. Stay true to yourself and your values. This genuine approach actually attracts more support and followers. To protect your inner pursuits, set clear goals and allocate your time and energy accordingly. Second, integrate personal ambitions with social responsibility. This integration garners broader support and helps achieve your ideals. The author believes that personal pursuits and social responsibility are not contradictory. Embracing social value can become an integral part of our personal aspirations. Finally, don't fear change. Face new challenges in life courageously. We should constantly try new approaches to thinking about and solving problems, developing flexible mindsets to adapt to life's changing rhythms. The author views these changes in life's rhythm as optimal opportunities for achieving personal growth and progress.